Hello and welcome to the big match review on LUTV, looking back on a point for the Whites against Charlton on a difficult night at Elland Road. To look back on all the action and give us his thoughts, we're joined once again by Leeds United legend Eddie Gray. Hello, sir.
Hi, Ben.
Eddie, I'm saying difficult. I don't really know how to describe it.
Well, you say it's a big match review. Well, potentially it was a big match, but it turned out to be a bit of a damp squib. Oh, it was pretty average, Ben.
It's interesting that the manager wasn't hiding that, Eddie. He walked into the press conference last night and he said to all the assembled media, "Not sure how you're going to write about that, boys. It wasn't good."
No.
So a pretty honest assessment from Neil Warnock.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we never played well. We never started the game well. And I know Neil, when I spoke to Neil after the game in Yorkshire Radio, he was saying there wasn't any atmosphere. But when it's like that, Ben, the players have got to get out and they've got to get the crowd going. But it never happened. At no stage of the game did it happen. We never passed the ball around quickly. We never got round about them. And they were pretty average. They were very, very average, I felt, Charlton as well. I mean, they were there for the taking. They just lost against Barnsley at home. They're coming up to Elland Road. I think they thought they'd have had a tougher time than they did. They could have went away with the 3 points, Charlton.
When we talk about the atmosphere, Eddie, there's a few factors, isn't there? There's obviously 3 home games in 8 days, which is tough for the fans financially.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, Ben. I didn't expect to be any more than 17,000 there. You know, when you think people they'll pick their games and they'll look and they'll think Birmingham's more attractive than Charlton. Southampton's probably more attractive than the two of them.
Yeah. If they're going to do 2 out of 3, it'll be the other 2.
Yeah, they're going to do Birmingham-Southampton. I mean, I think, you've got to be fair to the fans there. I think 17,000 in a night like that with 2 home games to come's a pretty good turnout.
And also on the atmosphere, there was always going to be a bit of a hangover from Friday night. There was always going to be slightly strange for the fans after the events of the last few days.
Yeah, but that's why I was hoping the players would go out and start really quickly and sharp and get the place buzzing. But the whole game was flat.
Well, we're talking about Friday. The club did actually announce a new campaign against chanting from the Leeds fans and particularly against the Leeds fans regarding Istanbul. And the club have asked fans to turn their back on any away support or any opposition support who are trying to wind the Leeds fans up. So it's good that the club have taken an initiative on this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we'll see how it works out in the future. I mean, you take the Hillsborough game, the other night. I mean, a lot of that's fueled by alcohol. Will they still turn their backs if they're, if it's like that the other night? You hope they do. You hope they listen to the football club, but we'll just wait and see.
OK, well, let's have a look at the action, Eddie. Not the most riveting action you've ever had to talk about, so if you can find a bit of sparkle in this, we'd be grateful.
There was a couple of points. Norris had a shot early on that, smacked the, defender, and it looked as if it was going goal-bound. Pearce headed over the top there. A bad header, actually, for Jason Pearce. I mean, if he can't get that on target, he's got to knock it down into the box among players. You see all the players round about the goal.
Nobody went with him, did they? It was almost a free header.
It was a free header, and he'll be disappointed with that header. You could tell by his reaction he was disappointed.
Once again, Pearce ended up with a bandage. He has to have some kind of injury every game.
Well, I think that's how he plays, I mean, I think this might be Norris's strike here when it, goes out back to him.
It took a while for Juve to get in the game. He's involved there early on.
Yeah, well, he's passing the ball around. I think he was the only player that... I thought young Sam Byron did quite well again, I'll be honest with you. This is Norris's shot here, hits the defender, flattened him, but he got very quickly at the defender. You see a lot of defenders that would lie down for that, because it smacks them, but whether it was going goalward bound, I don't know, mate.
Neil said that Norris will benefit from another game and another 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Still trying to get that match sharpness. Do you see him getting better and better as each game goes on?
He did okay last night. I mean... It was very difficult to pick the man of the match last night. I'd probably say Sam Byron was as good as anybody.
Well, obviously Norris came in, Varney came in as well, and Paul Green. Austin was rested, but he's having a scan on an ankle injury. Peltier obviously struggling as well, and Tong struggling. So they're almost enforced changes, but it was a new look midfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I said to Neil after the game, Ben, do you think the changes upset the rhythm of the team? And he says yes. I mean, the thing about it is the players that come in last night, Ben, Varney and Green, and even Norris to a certain extent, they're trying to impress the manager that they're good enough to be in the starting line-up. Well, I must be honest and say I don't think Green or Varney will play at the weekend. Given the other players are fit, Tong, Austin, I think he'll revert back to his tried and trusted,
Interesting that Michael Brown, a player we thought would be on the periphery, after the arrival of Varney, Norris and Green.
Yeah.
It now seems to be a mainstay in the side.
Well, he is so far, but he's still... I mean, if Austin and Tong are fit and Norris is fit, he could play Norris. You know, you just don't know. I think he's got the options in the midfield area. But when I say he's got the options in the midfield area, I mean, the players have got to perform better than they did last night, across the whole midfield.
Well, Dioufie's still the man we looked to last night to provide a spark. We heard Ronnie Jepson shouting, "Come on, Dioufie, we need a spark, we need a spark." And he was doing his bit. He was trying to get into the game.
Well, to be perfectly honest, he was the only player that you thought, he's trying to do something. You know, he's trying to get round about people. He was a bit unlucky here. He tries to dribble through 3 or 4 players. Good challenge in the end. But he was trying to get in the box and he was trying to get the players to play.
It was Diouf to Byron back
to Diouf, yeah.
They were the 2 men who...
And even in the second half, they had a lovely little move together down the right-hand side, which resulted in Byron hitting a good cross and we got a corner kick from it. I mean, they were the highlights from our point of view.
Well, let's have a look at the goal. David Norris gets his first league goal for the club. It's a good strike, almost out of the blue.
It's a good strike, but terrible defending. I mean, you watch how slowly the left back goes to close him down here. I mean, when it comes back here, I mean, the left back, he stands and looks at him. He's about 2 or 3 yards away from him. It was a great strike for Norris. He hit it in a half-turn. Couldn't have made better connection with it.
It's quite a difficult skill, that, isn't it?
When you get in the half-turn. And you've got to keep the ball down as well. It's quite easy to sky that, Ben. Slice it off the side of your foot. But he kept great control. It was a great strike for Norris,
And Eddie, Leeds nearly didn't go in ahead at half-time.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Tom Lees.
Very fortunate. We get one off the bar against Sheffield Wednesday. We were lucky. This is another one. Hits Tom Lees right in front of goal. I thought maybe Paddy Kenny could have came for that. I mean, it hits Lees inside the 6-yard area. And you're looking for your goalkeeper maybe to come and clean things up there. We get out of jail there, but when you actually look at it, I mean, it looks as if he's going to come. Then he decides to stay. Tom Lees is stepping back. The ball hits him over the top of Paddy Kenny. And very lucky to get away with that.
Eddie, it seems to be the way of the modern game that we have superb shot stoppers. For many of the keepers, we have that quality. But a lot of keepers seem to struggle with the ball in the
funny
air.
enough, when most keepers come for the ball now, I mean, I thought their keeper held a few last night, but they were all deep crosses, coming in for 40 yards out. But most keepers, when they come for balls now, Ben, they seem to try and punch them all the time. It's a great advantage to be able to use your hands inside the box, and crosses especially.
Neil will have been delighted to have got in ahead at half-time.
Yeah.
He would have thought he'd tried to reshuffle things, speak to his players, try and sort a few things out. So he'll have been very disappointed that they got pegged back.
He'll be disappointed to get pegged back, but, at the end of the game, he was more or less talking as if it was a point, that we'd gained rather than 2 points lost for the way we performed. I mean, I'll be honest with the goal. I mean, somebody did jump over the ball in front of Paddy Kenny, but I thought the goalkeeper could have done better with it, actually, I'll be honest with you, because when you actually look at it, doesn't get in the corner of the goal. It's only about 2 yards away from his body.
And the power didn't seem to be in the shot. It seemed to sort of skim along the ground.
I think he got caught flat-footed, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Now, somebody does jump up in front of him, but that's a long way out. Maybe Paddy thought he was going to redirect the ball.
And, of course, in these situations, we always expect the late cavalry charge. No matter how bad Leeds have played at home, last 15 minutes, you always expect them to be throwing the ball into the box and there'd be chances galore.
Yeah.
Eddie, it didn't happen. They nearly lost the game.
The cavalry charge was going the other way. It was them that were pushing the last 10, 15 minutes for the winning goal.
It was almost as if Chris Powell decided we can get more from this.
And, I mean, I want to say I thought Bradley Wright Phillips should have scored with his first attempt, which was a low one. Paddy Kenny made a good save, but you would expect him to score with it. I mean, when they work the ball down the flank, you think, yep, it's a great opportunity for them. They're right in, dead ball line, cocked back to him. And he miskicks his shot right in front of goal. He scuffs it. It's a great chance.
Anywhere but straight at Paddy Kenny.
Yeah, anywhere. It's a goal, yeah. He should have done better. But, Paddy, got to give the goalkeeper credit. I mean, he lines up and then he just sort of scuffs it. It's not a great strike.
Eddie, Charlton is struggling. After what you saw last night, would you expect them to struggle throughout the season?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we've got an instance here, Paddy Kenny made a great save, but he had to make a good save because his kick was pretty poor. I mean, they're breaking it this year.
4 against 2 at this stage.
Yeah, 4 against 2. I mean, they were lining up at the back post to hit this. It was a good save. And once again, though, it's basically straight at the goalkeeper. I know he makes a great save, but it is straight at him. But he had to make that. I think that was one for the manager, to save him, for the manager for giving him a telling off. When you actually look at it, it's straight at him, more or less. fortunately it was a yard or two either side of him in his beat.
Paddy Kenny was well aware. The hand went up to apologise to his fellow players.
He's an experienced goalkeeper. He knows it was a bad kick at that stage of the game.
OK, a point that Neil Warnock said the side were lucky to get, but you take it, you bank it, and it now gives Leeds 19 points, sat in 7th, just 1 point outside the playoffs. In the playoffs, Huddersfield, Wolves, Palace, Borough, Cardiff and Leicester. Some interesting stories, Eddie. Huddersfield struggled. They lost to bottom place Peterborough.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wolves on a decent run after a slow start. Palace are in a good position but have lost their manager.
Correct.
Borough seem to be relatively strong, particularly at home. Yeah. And then Cardiff and Leicester have won 6 at home without dropping a point. And they're the two sides who've got a little bit of a gap at the top on 25 points.
I've always said, Ben, if you're going to win the league or get promotion, you'll do it in your home form. You will pick points up away from home, but it's your home form that's going to count. And the two teams at the top, 6 games, 6 victories. And if they continue in that vein, they two will finish first and second, because they'll pick points up away from home. I mean, our home form's good, but the likes of last night, they're the type of games you've got to be winning.
Eddie, Leicester and Cardiff now the sides to watch. Then obviously both have spent some money. Leicester, interestingly, spent money last year, yet it seems to have gelled more for them this year.
It does. I mean, and they've got rid of Jim Beckford to Huddersfield. I mean, he was surplus to requirements, and they seem to have picked up. They look a strong side this season. There's a lot of teams in that top 6, top 7, including ourselves, who are capable of doing better. But, the run we're on, and we've got to say that it's a good run. We're undefeated in, 7 games? Yeah. Yep, that's a terrific run.
Next up, Birmingham, Eddie. They got out of jail last night. They came back to draw 3-3 with Millwall, but Lee Clark is a man under pressure. And given its games against Charlton and Birmingham, you've got to get 3 points on Saturday to make it 4 out of 6.
Well, when I was talking to Tom, before the game, Tom Kirwan, before the game last night, we were saying that's the minimum requirement for the 2 home games, 4 points, hopefully 6, but now it can only be 4. But the thing that concerns me, although Birmingham aren't doing well, they showed last night, they're capable of scoring goals. And we look as if we're still going to concede goals.
Eddie, a few issues for Neil Warnock to think about ahead of the weekend. First up, Luciano Becchio has been scoring the goals, but you'd say the last couple of games, his performances haven't really been up to his normal standard. Yeah,
but I felt a bit sorry for him last night, Ben, because it's a strange situation for him. El Hassiouf doesn't really play as a fellow striker, so he's having to deal with 2 central defenders majority of the time on his own. The balls he was getting played to him last night, I mean, they were awful. They were basically just punts up the park. They weren't passes, they were just knocking up around his neck and over his head. They had a 6'6" centre-back that's winning everything in the air. I don't think he's playing particularly well, but I still think he's the man to lead the line. His goal scoring's good.
And with the midfield, Austin's going for a scan on his ankle, so we don't know the situation with that. Tong's still struggling with the shoulder injury, and Neil Warnock's hoping that a few more days' rest will mean he can be in contention.
Yeah, I thought it might have been an ideal opportunity to put Ryan Hall on last night. We'll have to wait and see. I still don't think Eddie White's a right-sided player. We like that little bit of width. The midfield players, I think, whoever plays on Saturday will be decided through, i.e. injuries to Tong, Austin. I don't think the players that come in last night done themselves any favours, for the point of view of being selected at the weekend against Birmingham if everybody else is fit.
Interesting quandary at the back as well, because Drury came in and Barham at right back, which you'd imagine is a more balanced back four, but if the captain recovers, you'd think he would slot in somewhere.
Oh, he'll play. I think he'll play. I must be honest and say, I think Sam Byron would be more beneficial to the side just now. To the side. I thought the boy played well at right back, but I'm talking about going forward. I think it'd be more beneficial playing right side midfield for us just now.
So if everybody was fit, you'd have Peltier at right back, Drury at left back.
No, I'd have Eddie White at left back.
Eddie White at left back?
Yeah.
OK, and then midfield, Barham on the right.
Yeah.
Austin and Norris, Tong on the left.
Yeah.
OK, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
We will get more on the game against Birmingham from Eddie on Friday as we get ever closer. Tickets still on sale online at leedsunited.com. Of course, you can visit the counter in the Ellen Road store, or you can call 0871 334 1992. And, of course, all the highlights and reaction available right now on LUTV. But, Eddie, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see Eddie on Friday as we preview the game against the Blues.